Get ready for another exciting version of Mobile Reasoning with Good News Jamaica. This time, we're going to talk to Dominic Darby, the 11-year-old Jamaican who beat 80 countries with 800 plus contestants to be ranked the #1 coder in the X Prize Game Challenge. Stay tuned. Welcome, Dominic. Mr. Darby, how are you doing?
I'm very good, actually,
Yeah? Tell me why you're very good.
because the first international competition I entered, I won.
My goodness. I mean, that must have put you on like cloud 12.
Well, that's pretty high.
Yeah? So, Mom Darby,
Yes.
very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to sit with Dominique.
It's no problem.
I'm going to be asking both of you questions that you know I think are really cool,
Okay,
right?
got you.
So Dominic, let me start with you. You entered in, like you said, this international competition. Did you have any idea how many competitors would be going up against you?
Well, I knew there would be a lot, but I didn't think there would be that much.
I mean, 800.
Yes, that is a very big number.
Yeah. So did that kind of make you afraid or nervous?
A little, but not that much.
You felt confident with what you knew?
Yes.
How did you come up with the concept of the game that you won with?
Well, it took a long time. The idea wasn't in my head the first time when I was working on the game. I was thinking, guns, adventure. But when I tried those, it didn't really fit. It didn't really
What about
fit.
them didn't fit? The guns and the adventure. What about that didn't fit?
It just didn't fit with the style I wanted.
Okay. So, is this your first time doing programming?
No, it is not.
Tell me about your first time doing programming.
Well, my first time doing programming was about when I was 6 years old, when I went to the University of the West Indies and went to a coding summer camp where I was introduced to Scratch.
That was how many years ago?
About
5 years now.
yeah.
5, 6.
5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So we're talking about when he was about 5 or 6 years old.
Yes. He was actually one of the youngest participants in that
I
camp
would,
at the time.
I would bet.
Yeah, I was a bit nervous to leave my baby with so many older children.
Yeah.
And the coordinator of the camp was saying, he loved it. It would be a great opportunity. And because I knew he had this natural inclination to computers and he really just naturally gravitated towards it, I had to find a camp that was going to provide him with that type of, stimulation or that type of material for him. And so I found out about this camp. As I said, one of the youngest participants, but it was the right fit for him.
That brings me to a question every parent wants to know.
Yes.
How did you know that Dominique would be good at coding?
Okay, so but it was how quickly he was able to adapt to things like his tablet. So with Dominic, we purchased a lot of books. I read to him every night before going to bed. And he also had not a tablet, but it would be a children's version of a tablet, and we gave that to him and had different games, educational games, and he quickly mastered it in terms of getting to the end of each game.
And he was how old at that time?
That we're talking about like from 3 years old.
Wow.
He was just, and then he would also use our phone, he also used my phone to play the games, and he was really good at it. I mean, he was finishing games on the phone. So it made me realize that he really enjoyed it. And then he would be, so we had to buy him, you know, one of those laptops, not a real laptop, but you know, the laptops for children,
Right.
that had special games on the ABCs coming up, and he was more inclined to use that.
Okay.
And what we find, or what I find, sorry, is that I'd be on my laptop, he takes out his laptop, and you know, I'm away on mine, he's away on his. So he just had that natural, you know, naturally inclined to it. And so from there, I just realized that he got a lot of joy from being on electronics. Those different electronic games that we got from him, that we got for him, he played it, finished it. So he had just had this hunger for more, and so that was my clue, hint, that he needed more of this. And so I was looking around for something that would provide him with that challenge and feed that
Desire.
thank you, desire. And that is how I was able to find out about what was being offered at University of West Indies, this special camp at University of West Indies, and that's where we started.
Did you enjoy the camp at University of West Indies?
Yes, I actually did. I learned how to make websites, games, videos.
Wait a minute. You were 6,
Yes.
and you were making websites.
Well, like not really professional websites, you know, like hello and you know some buttons that bring you to other websites. Not really anything professional.
But you were doing this in coding,
Yes.
like HTML or
Yes.
CSS or something.
HTML for the
Nice.
websites.
Wow, beautiful. All right, so let's fast forward. You see this X prize, and you're saying, first of all, how did you come up to this this
Okay.
X prize?
So imagine
Mm-hmm.
2020,
Yeah.
gloom, pandemic. You have a new world that you've entered in, where your child spends most of his time inside. And spending time inside is not socializing as much as he used to. The atmosphere is one of what's next, what is going to happen. And as a parent, as a mother, you want to find some way to provide something light, something enjoyable, something that he loves, and to use this opportunity to make sure that this year we still achieve, or we still help at home. With that said, I saw the Separate Jamaica Foundation. They were speaking about a competition from X Prize, and I saw it on Instagram, and I said, you know, that this would be a great opportunity for Dominic, because the truth of the matter is, because he's spending most of his time inside, he was spending most of it on the computer, because he's basically doing school and socializing on the computer. And it would be nice if he was continue doing this, but with a purpose. And so I went to him and I said, Dominic, look at this. I think this would be a great opportunity for you in terms of, you know, something exciting. I know you can do this. And it would be great. And, you know, we were able to look at the conditions, the rules, and we saw that one of the areas that it spoke to a scratch, which he learned. In addition to that, I also bought a book, tips, and because I don't know how to do scratch.
Okay.
I wouldn't have been much used to him there, but we went and purchased this book that gave you tips and guides how to use scratch. And so I gave that to him, and he read, and he was able to read up on it, and he was able to use this opportunity, this time, where, for all I can say, a dark cloud, we were able to find that silver lining, and that silver lining was him being able to now use this time that he had inside to create something great, to create something that he can always look back at. So it wasn't even so much winning the game, but providing him with that that outlet for his creativity. And I think that's what it did, because it gave him the opportunity to, while he's watching YouTube, to watch it with a purpose, to look for specific tutorials that helped him in developing his game, to play around with his imagination, his creativity. Imagine getting the opportunity to make or do anything that you want. You can bring it to life.
Yes.
And it gave him that excitement. And as a mother, I just love to see when he found something that he excelled at and he loved, especially in a time when there was so much uncertainty and negativity and, you know, sadness around us.
Right.
And to me, that was more fulfilling than anything else.
You were doing the guns and venture first, right?
Yes.
So how did you switch to what you have now?
Because see, I at that time, well, I wasn't really, you know, professional or anything, and for projectiles to work, you know, like you and guns and aim, you know, that's math. That's a lot of math. And at that time, since I'm in prep school, I don't really know all that math.
Okay.
So it's gonna be hard for me to make the guns.
Okay. Is How to Fall the only game that you said, okay, I want this one to be in the competition?
No, actually, there's this other game. It was pretty good until it kind of just stopped working in the new Scratch update.
Oh.
Because it was called Cubics, or Color Test Cube.
Okay.
It was this little cube guy, and you had to touch. Look, when I started developing the game, I didn't have like everything set out yet. So the way to progress it is you have to get the jar of jam on the other side of the level. So it was pretty much the same as How to Fall, except it was a little cube jumping around, and you had to go get the jar, and then the level would switch and the jar would move.
Okay.
But then the new Scratch update came, and it kind of got messed up. The cube can just walk through walls now. The jar doesn't move anymore, and it just didn't work. So I had a few weeks left, so I just, you know, adapted to the new update and made something.
I and my son just mastered How to Dungeon.
Oh yeah, that's the new version of it.
Hey, I love that game. I can't remember which part was so hard. Oh yes, this.
The spike on the top, spike at the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah, that was even when I created it, I was like, is this possible? And then I tried it a few times, I failed, but then there's this one time and I did it. So yes.
It's great. My son even cried about it because he couldn't figure it out. And we were like, oh yeah, he's gonna cry before he figures it out. And he picked up the laptop. I'm not gonna cry, and moved off. And then we heard some crying, and then he came back and said, "Ha! Figured it out." So excellent, because it not only is it difficult, it makes someone want to do more, want to make sure that they get over this hurdle, which is life. Do you understand that with your coding, you are mirroring life?
No, I didn't think of that.
Can you see how that could be?
Yes. One of the other Scratch winners, I forgot what her name was, but she also won Best in Class Scratch. She made a tycoon where you had to stop global warming.
Wow.
And, you know, that's kind of happening right now.
You know, what is interesting with yours, though, it teaches you very fundamentally that don't give up. If you keep on trying and you keep on trying different ways to get to your goal, you will get there. And when you get to that goal, guess what? Another goal comes up. You should always put another level in your life. Remember that. Because whether you knew you were doing it or not, you're teaching all the players lessons on life. How does that make you feel?
I feel great now that I know that all the people who saw my game now know that I shouldn't give up so easily.
That's right. That's right. Earlier you mentioned that some coding has higher levels of math in it. How did this coding help you with the math that you are learning now?
Well, the math that I'm learning now is similar to this. Like, there's a lot of variables in my game that keep track of numbers and data. Like, if I change one, it changes something in the game. Like, if I change the friction to 0, the person, as soon as he walks, he just goes sliding. If I change the walking speed to like 100, he's gonna go flying. If I change the jump height to 100, he's gonna go flying even more. So you have to really know which numbers are okay, or else the game just gonna feel unbalanced.
In high school,
Yes.
they do this thing where you have to have your computer-based training and computer-based tests, and they're testing like on Pascal and Cobalt and those very archaic coding. How is Dominique going to step into that type of a curriculum when he's so far advanced? How is that going to happen?
That it's going to be a challenge, and I think that is why, in terms of allowing him to do a lot of exploration on his own in terms of the tutorials online, in addition investing in quite a few books for him to read, and I'm also going to ensure that he gets the tutoring that he needs.
Is this something that you want Dominique to take up professionally?
I am very supportive of what Dominic wants to do in life. If it is coding, I am supportive of it. It is a great joy to watch him excel at something he loves, and this is something that he can actually build on and go into so many different directions. So yes, I am here to support him in this venture. He wants to continue doing it professionally or venture out.
So Dominic, is it something you want to do professionally?
Yes. Well, coding, computer science, computers, which includes coding, and there's other stuff.
Okay, so you said something that sparks my curiosity. Dominic, you had no tutors, you had nobody guiding you through building the game or anything like that?
In the competition?
For the competition?
No, I did read up on some game mechanics. I did look in some of the books that my mother bought me.
Wow. You don't even understand how big of a statement that is. You took on 800 people by yourself.
Yes.
And just you swept through them like a hot knife through butter.
I honestly thought people would be making games in Unity or Unreal Engine 3D games with crazy graphics. But I didn't really see that when in the Zoom meeting, the Winners Council, I didn't see anybody make like a huge game that could blow Fortnite right off its pedestal.
That would be a heck of a coding experience.
And that's important to note, because in going in, when we're thinking how basic, when I say basic, because there will be other persons with greater resources going in, and based on what he had and what he was able to accomplish, it is amazing. So I'd have to say it's more self-taught, self-directed, that he was able to create.
Well, congratulations to you. Congratulations to you. What would you say coding does for a child's learning?
It definitely makes it more exciting, because because I think a lot of times learning can seem so abstract. If that's the word I'm looking for. But the learning does not seem relatable sometimes. And I think what this did is that it showed how he can actually use math. There's always these funny memes. Went another day without using algebra or something to that effect. But in doing coding, he was able to utilize what he had learned in terms of math, of science, things such as physics. Those things came into play in building out the game, and so it makes the learning, it makes what he's learning more exciting, because he's now able to adapt it to create a whole new world, a whole new gaming environment that he can play and can have others play. It also engages so many parts of the brain, because as I mentioned before, music was involved in terms of the type of music he chose for the game, in terms of artwork, color schemes that he used. In fact, for him to be able to actually read the books to help code, that's English language right there. He had to read, he had to love to read, because for him to, and not just reading and understand, understand and adapt. And so it helped with comprehension.
Yes, of course.
So it brought everything that he has learned alive, and to allow him to now put it into something that he wanted to do, which is to create a game that we would all enjoy. So right away it engages all parts of the mind. It provides excitement and joy for your child. It allows them to bring a world alive, and they won't be able to do it without coding. Okay. Coding is a language, and it's a language of the future. So it's definitely something that is helpful to our children.
What type of impact do you want to make with your coding?
I want people to, have fun jumping around, and make them feel free, make them feel like I can do anything.
Nice. Yeah, that definitely is an aspect of your game that I like. Now, do you know what the word resilience means?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that playing your game or coding builds resilience?
To the game?
For the individual?
I don't think so. Why do you ask?
Because I was saying to you before that when I was playing the game and when Daniel was playing the game, it was a thing of, I'm not going to give up until I get this thing done. There's no way that I'm going to say I quit. It's not going to happen, right? So we kept on going over until we won.
Oh,
Do you see what I mean?
Then why did you say resilience? Why didn't you just say replayability? Like,
that's a perfect phrase, actually.
replay, like it makes you wanna keep trying over and over again until you get those things. Just like Fall Guys. It used to be popular, but now it's not that much anymore.
Was Fall Guys a game?
Yes.
Okay.
It was like the whole thing. It was like the whole package. It was so good. It beat Fortnite, but then after a while, it lost its replayability, and people started to be like, why am I playing this still? I've done it so many times.
I love it. Replayability. In my day, which was a very long time ago, coding would take forever and take up a lot of time. How do you balance the time that Dominique gets to code and then the other things that has to happen in life?
Right. It is a balancing act, because especially now that he's doing PEP, getting ready for PEP,
right.
I have to ensure that balance is there. And so what we've done is that we have like a schedule where we allocate time for him to do his coding and practice on making his games, but at the same time to ensure that enough time is spent in terms of schoolwork, and we also ensure that playing tennis is a way to make sure he's still active, social, and being social. So that's very important. So it's really a balancing act to ensure that we give enough time to all aspects. I think it also helps because he enjoys the coding so much that it's one of those factors that pushes him to get everything else done so that he can spend the time to code. And then it's a joy when he's able to share the game with his friends, and to even hear Daniel speak about playing the game and getting through 2 sets of spikes, and those are things that really pushes him. And so it in itself provides an incentive to get everything else done so that we're able to include everything that he wants, which is time for coding, time for school, time for tennis, time for social, time for everything. So.
Okay. Do you feel, Dominique, that you are living a balanced life right now?
Yes, I actually do.
Okay. Is there anything that you would like to do with life other than what you're doing now?
Not at the moment. I haven't thought about that. But no,
So life is good as it is.
Yes.
I like that. We certainly have a beautifully strong mummy supporting you, and I know that means a lot to you, huh? Yeah. All right. So your goal in life is to do whatever you're gonna do at the absolute highest, not the best that you can do, but the best that it can be done, so that you can make sure Mummy lives a very easy life. All right?
Yes.
That sounds like something you can do?
Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe.
That will be hard. Very hard to do.
Of course.
I want to hear the rest. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
What's the hard part? Let's hear that.
So yeah, like if I I'll have to get straight A's in everything in school, not forget anything. Wake up like 5 o'clock in the morning, get dressed, probably drive myself to school.
Yes. Go ahead, please continue.
Then I come back home, pay the bills and stuff.
Oh, good. Go ahead. No, hold on, man. Go ahead, please.
As soon as it reaches 8 o'clock, I'll just do the rest of my mother's work, make her go to bed, and then after I'm done, I'll go to bed, and then next day everything over again.
I mean,
I understand what he meant. You see why you have to ask children
Of course.
to complete a sentence, because when you heard the first part, you're like, what does he mean he doesn't want to make my life easy? But then he thinks he'd have to take his life and do my life. And that's not exactly what we meant. But I'm glad I heard the rest of it.
I love the way you think.
It's very practical.
I love the way you think. Good stuff. Well, Dominique, thank you very much for sitting with Good News Jamaica, sitting with me, and having this wonderful conversation. I wish you the utmost best and the most blessings in what you have to do, what you're going to do with your life, whether it is coding or whatever it is that you choose. I really hope that you focus and take it on and do it the best that it can be done.
Thank you. I couldn't have done it without Supermom.
I love it. Oh.
You're welcome, my son.
Yes.
And Mommy, thank you so much again for allowing us to sit down with you two to have this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, and it was really a great opportunity. It was so enjoyable, and I really loved it. Thanks so much.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Good job, Dominic.
Good job, Dominique. All right, guys.
Good news, Jamaica.
Yes.
Good news, Jamaica.
So remember, there are many ways that you can learn coding. It doesn't matter your age. Go out there on the internet and look up all the free resources. I'm going to give you a few. One of them is Daisy the Dinosaur. Just look it up. The other one is Move the Turtle. The other one is Kids Ruby, Hackety Hack, Sphero, Robot Turtles, Made with Code by Google, and the other one is Hopscotch. Look them all up. Of course, you know GitHub, but guess what? Here in Jamaica, we have two dynamic companies that are helping youngsters code like nothing before. The first is Youth Can Do IT. Look it up. You'll see a description you'll see a link in the description, and then the other one is the Halls of Learning. Both really exciting, really good, and they produce champions. So check them out. And of course, if you like the content that we keep on creating, look us up on Patreon under Good News JA. See you next time.
Thank you for checking us out on Good News Jamaica TV for content that informs, inspires, and transforms. Please like, share, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more positive Jamaica content. Walk good,